Just give me pills.
I'm going to talk about disgusting things. Oh, my back is itching. I better turn around to see what it is. Oh, Indian summer! I get it, you're jealous, but it's okay. So, a short topic, but I've had some thoughts on it. Ever since I woke up, I started realizing that the disgust I felt for a lot of insects and such was conditioned by films, especially, and from television, from childhood, because disgust essentially comes from the inside. What I mean is that when you have worms together mating or living together, sliming their way around, they don't feel any disgust, obviously, because by nature that's what they do. So of course it's arguable that there's some natural programming in us that finds some things disgusting. That's very possible, of course, but as far as insects and animals finding so many of them disgusting and what they do, that's conditioning. I'm very sure about it. So maybe something you may want to look into yourself and find out how it is. When it comes to such things as urine and feces, there's also a lot of conditioning when it comes to finding that disgusting, but that all depends on how your body is at that point, in what state, and what you consume. So of course such thing as feces would be then by your programming recognized as being disgusting. That's just how it is. But the urine is something else. I'll make a video on that at some point. But it can also be sensed as something similar to disgusting if you put something disgusting into your body, but that's a quite big exception, likely. And the thing about this is that that is possible, when many people have talked about this, how when something happens to, let's say, a father, and the child is born, the newborn, or whether it's an animal, insect, the next ones, doesn't matter if it's laid in an egg or so, I assume, then this fear of humans, for example, when we kill them, could be born into them, the next generation, and again and again and again. And seeing as it's been going on for so long, as I talked about in my last video, because people supposedly lived very peacefully with other living things until some point. So it's gone down this road, and this disgust may be part of it. Fear may also be in the genes. That would be animals, insects, or whatever. Just like a lot of things. And it's also part of a lot of conditioning. But I've come to realize that it comes from the inside, essentially. Because if you're in a dark room, and if there actually is something there, what is it that is actually going to happen? That's the kind of questions you should ask yourself. That's what I did anyway. Because I used to be afraid of the dark, as in not being able to perceive with my eyes, sense, in whatever space, room, such. And one of the reasons is definitely because my father gave me a lot of horror films to watch when I was 4 or 5. That's when I started, and I just watched them over and over again. And that's part of a lot of conditioning nowadays when it comes to fear. It's a huge part in comparison to a lot of the stuff. If you see somebody react to a special animal in a certain way, then you will mimic it, so to say. You will be conditioned to believe that that kind of reaction is the way it should be, and that's just one of the ways it happens. But I've got over that quite a while ago, actually. And I want to tell you a story I read. There used to be this group of people who lived somewhere. Specifics don't matter. It's just a story as such, and there are these Christian crusaders, I believe. And this group that was slaughtered had acquired some bliss or skills from the sun, and did not feel any pain when they were slaughtered in this torturous way, and died in peace. And this would more or less be ego death. So much for fear. And it's actually funny, I've never looked into the word crusader. It sounds like it may come from cross, and the cross is the sun cross, or the swords, if they were wearing swords. That's also the sun symbol, the cross, solar cross. That's where swords come from, the idea. If they use that to slaughter people who acquired skills from the sun through sun gazing or whatever method, that would be quite funny.